Hi, and welcome to the Hoop Circle. Today's special guest is coming all the way from Byron Bay in Australia, and it is the fabulous Jane Fondle. Hiya!
Hi Kay, hi everybody.
How are you doing over there?
I'm good. It is winter here, so even though I'm in a t-shirt, it's actually really cold outside. I've got my heater on, but I'm good. Just in my bedroom where I've been spending a lot of time the last few months.
Fair. And it's looking fabulous there, can I say. It's got some great disco vibes.
Thanks. Gotta bring it.
And you've been hooping since 2003, but I know you said to me that you kind of got more obsessed and more passionate about it from like 2012 onwards. What would you say that you're kind of best known for within the hoop scene?
Okay, well, that's an interesting question. I would say I'm known for nothing to do with hooping. I'd say I'm just known for 80s dance and wearing 80s clothes and being bright and maybe loud and maybe even a bit obnoxious. But I promise I am actually a hula hooper. Maybe I'm known for doing like hoop dance choreography that's usually specifically to 80s songs, but I do transcend all decades. I'm currently choreographing a hoop dance routine to Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani. So that's late 90s, maybe. Definitely not 80s.
No,
Anyway.
late 90s, early 2000s, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nice. And you also do, I've been to a few of your classes back when I was living in Melbourne, and as well as doing hoop classes, you also do these kind of 80s fitness motivational ones as well.
Yes. So that would be booty camp. So again, non-hoop. Oh no, actually, the hoop does play a small part of booty camp. So it's kind of like a retro fitness class inspired by aerobics and 80s dance and 90s hip hop and hula hoop and a bit of voga as well, which is like voguing yoga, something that I didn't invent. Some very creative woman in London whose name I can't remember. I don't know if she's still teaching voga classes, but I think you can probably go to her classes in London. So yeah, it's a bit of a fusion of all of those fabulous things.
So many things that I love all fused into one. And yeah, I remember leaving, big sweaty mess, very happy, muscles that I didn't know could ache. It was very, very good. I loved it.
Yeah, perfect.
And I
That's
see
the
roller
aim.
skates as well in the background. So is that
Yes,
something that you like doing as well?
yes, not on carpet, unfortunately. So I haven't been skating for a while. I quite like to skate at a rink, actually, old school, 80s. Less chance of hurting yourself when you fall over. But yes, I've been roller skating since I was like 7 years old. So I am a big fan of it, and looking forward to the rinks being open again so I can get back in there.
Have you ever tried combining it with hoop?
I have. It's much easier. I mean, if you're doing isolations and or spinning it on your hand or weaving, and even with two hoops, you can do lots of stuff because two hoops you're usually doing all your like poi hoop moves or isolations and stuff. So two hoops and skates is awesome and twice as impressive. But yes, spinning on your waist and hooping at the same time is pretty impossible unless you're spinning around in a circle on your skates. Because your hoops, like when you're hooping, your hips are moving in a circle, and when you're skating, you're like pushing out side to side. So they don't really work together.
So more off body than on body hoop with the skates then.
More off body. Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Right. And so when you started hooping in 2003, how was it you discovered hooping?
Okay, yes. So I went to the Tasmanian Circus Festival. I was 2003, I must have been like 5 years old. But I went on my own, which was kind of really strange. I think I was studying contemporary dance at the time at university. And I think I just saw a little, it was probably like a little, not even A5 black and white thing on a notice board somewhere about the circus festival, and I was like, that looks cool, I'm going to go to that. So I went on my own and took my car on the ferry and went to this circus festival, and I'd never done any circus things before. And on day one, I did, you know, the yoga in the morning and acro balance and hula hoop and poi and static trapeze, and I just did everything. And I woke up on day two and just went to move, and I couldn't even roll over in my bed. I couldn't move. I was so sore, like every muscle in my whole body, because I was like really fit, but had never done any of those things before. So day two, I did nothing. And like, it was one of those festivals where you've got workshops for a week, kind of like the EJC, the European Juggling Convention, where you've got 5 days of lots of workshops, and then they have the gala shows and stuff on the weekend. So yes, I did my first hula hoop workshop there with Sam Starr, who now works with me for Hoop Flyers Buttocks. She's one of my teachers sometimes for hens parties and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's been a long time. What's that, 17 years that she first taught me. And now I still know her, and she's awesome. And yeah, love her to bits. And yeah, but it was very much like I knew 5 hula hoop tricks, because that was before YouTube and Instagram, definitely before Instagram. And, you know, before there was these hula hoop influencers that you would follow and fan and copy the tricks, or, you know, there wasn't like 5 hoop dance classes in every city of the world. There was nothing. So I learned my 5 tricks in that workshop and just practiced those for the next 5 years. And then saw a hoop dancer at a bar once in Melbourne, and saw her, and she was just amazing. I was mesmerized. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. She was shoulder hooping like an angel. And then I saw her out the front, and was like, wow, you're so good. Where can I learn? And she was just about to start classes in a park, and I was like, sign me up. So then yeah, I went. I got a travel hoop that was actually made by Rico, the French hooper that's all about the vertical hooping on the body. Yep. And is that his name right? I think so.
Yeah, Rico, kind of lots of shoulder angle hooping stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yep. So yeah, and then a couple of years later, I went off to the UK and went to the European Hula Hoop Convention, which sounded like, really, I'm going to European Hula Hoop Convention. And it was in Sheffield. And I kind of felt like, you know, that Wayne's World moment where they've got like the backdrop and they're like, hey, we're in blah, 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 and then they're like, we're in Delaware, and they've got nothing to say about it. I kind of felt a little bit like that when I got to Sheffield. I mean, no offense, but England's beautiful, but Sheffield was a little bit like, yeah, not the place I expected the European.
It's not like going to the capital, is it? It's, yeah.
I did not buy a postcard to send to anybody, but the convention was amazing, and I got to meet Angie, Mack, and Lisa Lottie actually was there running a workshop as well, because she would have still been living in London then, I guess. I can't remember who else was teaching now, but anyway, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, and meeting all these other hoopers and learning all this cool stuff, and everyone was so good. And yeah, then I've become hooked on conventions as well.
Nice.
So yeah, that's like no turning back.
Oh, that's really lovely. And when you were hooping in Melbourne, obviously I used to live in Melbourne for a little bit, there's quite a big hoop scene there. Is there much of a hoop scene in Byron Bay? Like, what's it like over there?
There's no hoop scene in Byron Bay. Byron Bay is such a tourist town, so people come here for holidays. It attracts a lot of hippies, except it's become a lot more of an expensive place to live and hang out. I think it's got the most expensive supermarket in the country. So it's not really a budget hippie traveller location that it used to be and that it's famous for. But because it still does attract some hippies, there's always float artists that are hanging out and, you know, that are hippies traveling around with their hula hoops or their poi or whatever. So there'll be like, you know, jams up by the beach and stuff like that. But in terms of kind of gathering local people that are going to come to classes or just hang out in the park and meet up and hoop, I've run a couple of hoop jams and half the people come down from the Gold Coast, which is in Queensland, which is a different state, which now there's a border there's been a border forever. Now the border is closed and we can't even like cross states. It's only like 5 minutes from my house and I can't even go there. It's funny. But yeah, there's probably more of a committed hoop scene of people like living there and committing to things on the Gold Coast than in Byron. And people are not really good at committing to things here. Like maybe they'll just want to get stoned instead, or or it's like 6:30, it's dark, it's time to get ready for bed. It's a bit of a sleepy area. Like there's sort of the Byron Bay region and there's Byron Bay town itself, which is more your tourists and growing amount of Instagram influencers and blah blah, but the region has more people that would be up for hooping, but yeah, actually getting themselves to class is another story. That was a long answer, wasn't it? Really long answer. No. So, no.
I've only been to Byron Bay for like 2 days, and yeah, it had that kind of slightly hippie vibe, a lot of loose chickens at a cafe kind of vibe. Yeah, I liked it, but yeah, I can understand what you mean.
Oh my god, the loose chickens. I think you mean bush turkeys there, right?
Okay. Right, that will be what there was definitely some chickens hanging around while I was eating lunch at a vegan cafe.
Were they human, like you loose chicken, or animals?
I remember a lot of lizards and just roosters and things just hanging about. That's all I really remember of Byron Bay, but it was very nice.
I reckon they were bush turkeys. You need to like insert a photo of a bush turkey.
I'll put that in now so people can see what we're talking about.
They're so weird. They look so weird. And even people come up from Melbourne and see them and they've never seen them before because it's like 2,000 kilometres away and we don't have bush turkeys there. So they come on, they're like, what the hell is that? They're such weird things. Loose chickens.
Loose chickens everywhere. And what would you say, being someone who's travelled around to, I say, hoop conventions and events around the world, would you say there's any kind of differences between the kind of Australian hoop scene, like in terms of like what people tend to focus on with their hooping or anything like that?
I would say, I mean, in the UK, I think the skill level is way higher. Like you go to a hoop jam in the UK and it's going to be really different. The level is really higher. Otherwise, I don't know. I feel like there's more of and maybe it's because I know the hoopers more, but there seems to be more of an age variety in Australia from what I've seen. Like, I mean, I've got hoopers that I teach who are in their 50s and in their 20s. So it's quite broad, whereas in the UK, I think it might be more limited, but I don't know. I might be wrong in that.
I think certainly, I think that local, like weekly classes, it tends to be varied. I think maybe with the price of a lot of the conventions, I think it might attract maybe a very more of a certain section of people who are willing to pay a certain amount for like a weekend long festival, things like that. But yeah, I know certainly from I've seen differences teaching in different parts of the world, with like some places like super hot on twins hooping stuff, and others are like everyone can split 4 hoops even if they can't do an isolation, and it kind of it's always interesting to see like where if there's like a huge circus community, if it's very kind of multi on body type vibes.
And I think in Europe and in the UK, it's probably easier to get people to come to your conventions. I mean, there's a lot more people. You've also got all the other people in the other countries that are really close by. But I think maybe people are just more adventurous or more willing to come and meet. And maybe because you have so many more hoopers and in more countries, and everyone makes a connection and a relationship online, and then they're like, oh yeah, you're going to that, or I'm going to go to that. The German Hoop Convention gets so many people, and Swoop is also huge, and we have hoopy happenings here in Sydney in Australia. That's our one main hoop convention every year, and I think the last one was about 20 people or something, and she's had more like 30 or so in the past. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of more of a, you know, it's no, it's not longer, but everything's included and we all stay together. So maybe it's the price point, but
Yeah.
I think, and
Also,
everyone's so spread out.
yeah, it's a big country, and as you say,
Yeah.
there's like, other than I guess kind of New Zealand, like there's not that many other hoopers who are that close by that can come.
Yeah, that's it too. And there is the Australian Hoop Convention that's like more of a weekend thing, and that's in Melbourne, and that gets a lot of people, but that gets more the circus. Like half the people that are there are like the circus hooper crew, because it's run by circus people, not by hoop dancers.
Right.
So all the sort of younger, hardcore training circus hoopers are there as well. So it's a bit different, and it's in the city. Well, it's in, you know, yeah, it's a bit easier for people to kind of go and go home and blah blah blah. But yeah, not as, we definitely don't get the big convention numbers like in Europe, where especially like the ones where everyone stays together or billeting or whatever, which I love. They're the
Yeah.
best. Mm.
No, definitely. And in terms of hoopers who've inspired you, the three that you've picked to share with us, the first one is someone here on the show just recently, Emma Kenna. What is it that you like about Emma's hooping that inspires you?
Okay, well, she's been someone I have fangirled, aka made her be my very close friend, since about 5 years. It's probably longer, it could be 6 or 7 years, but I think I saw one of her video clips on YouTube, and she was coming to Australia to teach a workshop, which I couldn't go to, and I watched this clip and I just loved it. It was like, you know, really colorful and fun, and just her tricks were really cool. I'd never seen those tricks before. So I guess that's the thing about Emma. She's really creative, and, you know, she's a hoop tech nerd, and she'll just spend endless amounts of time trying to work something out. And she's a perfectionist. It's got to work out. She's got to make it happen and create new things all the time. Like, she's really creative and a hard worker. So she was just doing all this cool stuff that I'd never ever seen before. And she always is, and I just like the tricks that she does. Like, I'll follow her, keep following her around the world. And she's such a good teacher as well, you know,
Yeah.
as far as teachers go. She's so good at breaking things down, and her classes are like interesting and funny, and you learn cool stuff. And she's so supportive as a teacher also. She's just, yeah, I'm like her number one fan.
Oh, love Emma. And it's actually through Emma that I met you, because the first time I was going out to Australia, she was like, you have to meet Fondle, she's amazing, you'll get on so well.
Yeah, she sends everyone to me. Like, she only sends the cool people to me. It's so true. She's really connected me to lots of people, and, you know, she's been the gateway to me teaching at different conventions as well. I think I taught at the German Hoop Convention before I even met Ina, because Emma was like, you've got to get Fondle. Or I performed or something the first one I went to. Yeah, so she's been a really good connector for me. She's such a good networker, you know.
And then she had you at the sweep, and I remember you were doing something with like, what's the name of it? The one you blow into with the keys.
I know, it's not, wait, I'll just get it.
Yeah, just grab one of those. Because obviously you're the kind
I
of
can't
like,
get everything with me. It's my guitar. It was that we did it. Actually, there was no hoop involved. See, again, I got booked to teach a non-hoop thing at a hoop convention. It was a 80s dance workshop where we learned a routine to Take On Me by Aha, and then there's a solo guitar moment. So that's where everyone had to move out of the way, and I could have my like solo. It's amazing.
love it. The second hooper that you've picked is a fellow Australian, although living in Berlin, which is the fabulous Chris Gogler, or C-section. What is it that inspires you about Chris?
Oh, I just love him. He's just such a great guy. He's really funny. But yeah, he's also a really good hooper. He's also a really hard worker. I think I'm just aspire to these people that work really hard, and are very humble as well. And you know, loves sharing and helping others. And but yes, I just love watching him hoop. I mean, he's always got these like long extended limbs, and his toe is always pointed unless it's flexed intentionally, and then like he knows it's flexed and he means it. And just his planes are always perfect. And no, I think maybe it's a Virgo thing. Everything's just like perfection, you know. The hoops are always on the exact correct plane and everything comes together, and you know, it's just perfection.
And make that full body awareness of a dancer as well, as you say, it just makes
exactly. And yeah, exactly. And he's always got a really great outfit on and looks really good.
Yeah.
Which is very
awesomeness.
You're hooping. Yeah, exactly. And he's a really great guy. He's really funny. Absolutely. Which you don't get to really see in the videos. He should like stop and tell a joke and then go back into it. Yes, Chris, there's your technical tip from stop and tell a joke.
Have a little joke break in the middle of each video, just pause the hoops.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And the final hooper you've picked is the wonderful French hooper Lila Chupa-Hoops. What is it that you are inspired by with Lila's hooping? Well,
I really like her tricks as well. I think she's quite creative and makes some really cool combos. So I think from doing some classes with her as well, yeah, she's taught, and I did like a private lesson with her too, and she was like, okay, this one, and you put this and then this, and I just loved listening to her talk. But she's very flawless, and I guess, you know, similar to Chris in that way, that but very different hoopers as well. But everything is just really clean and neat and perfection. So, and really, yeah, I think all those hoopers are quite different in their styles and the tricks that they do. They're all really different, but they're all just so good and hard. And Lila's a really hard worker too. She's like, I'm not going to go and train unless I've got 4 hours to dedicate in one go to train.
Wow.
Like, what?
So good with other props as well. She does amazing stuff with fans and yeah, kind of really different dance-based kind of movement stuff as well.
Yeah, and I think in you know, you would have seen her performance for Roxanne, and you know, just everything about it was just beautiful. It was amazing. All the 2 hoop combinations that she did with all the wedgies and everything, and yeah, she's just such a good performer. She performs all the time, so she's so experienced and professional. So yeah, I just like to follow people that I look up to, that I'm like, oh my God, they're just the best at what they do.
Very nice. And in terms of videos to share with the audience, and again, we'll have links underneath for all of the things that we're talking about with the videos. There's the full video underneath if you want to watch the whole thing. The first one is one that gives me proper like goosebumps. I remember the first time I watched it, I was like tingles all over, which is Trembling Hoop by Marianna de Sanctis. What is it that you like about this video?
Yes, this is so, I don't really watch many hoopers videos and like for, you know, a long full video, I've got to say. I mean, I do watch a lot of people on Instagram, but that's just kind of doing this, so I couldn't even remember who I've watched and like to recall them. Like I might remember the person but not really the video. But this was, you know, I watched on YouTube, I watched it several times, I shared it with people, and it was so, it's from forever ago. So I'd never seen anyone do all of these interesting things with a hoop like she does. Like she's so creative, and she, you know, flicks it around really fast, and she's in this pool with the water, and she just gets in there like a crazy bitch. And I've met her, she's a crazy bitch, so, you know, it all makes sense. In a good way. She's awesome. She's hilarious. So it was just really creative, really different, and a really beautiful video. So that's why I still love that one.
Awesome. That's such a great video. It still gives me tingles. And the next video that you picked is someone who's currently living in Bristol. So yay, another Bristol hooper, which is the fabulous Angie Mack. And again, originally she's from Australia, isn't she? Am I getting this right? So
she is one of us originally. We had her, she left, she ran away, followed a man across the world. I don't know if that's why she lives in the UK now, but let's go with that.
And she runs Hooper Clock, and this video that we're going to show in a minute, and again the links beneath, is for her hula hoop show Crash from Glastonbury Festival. What is it you like about this video and Angie's hooping?
So this was the first video that I watched, probably one of the first few hooping videos that I did watch, but it's the first one that I watched that I was like, oh my God, it's so good. She's amazing. Look at those tricks. What is that? What did she just do? Wow. And she's just so fun. Like, it's very trad circus style, but with some extra added sass. Like, it's definitely got, you know, a lot of character in there. Like, she's just so fun to watch. But her tricks are really cool. Again, really clean. But yeah, I think the tricks just been something that I hadn't really seen before, given that I had 5 hula hoop tricks that I knew, and and how fun she was she's just such a fun performer to watch. So yeah, look at those big hoops as well.
Let's watch a bit of the video. And yeah, Angie is really the queen of like cabaret and busking as well. I've seen her do busking shows and they're just absolutely fantastic. She's got so many cool big tricks. It's really nice. And the final video that you picked is an ex-Bristol person, which is the fabulous Kenna, and it's her video Kenna Hoops at the College, Bristol, October 2012, Mismatched Twins Crotch Extravaganza.
Yeah. I just chose this one so that you had to say that long title, really. Like, the video is all right. I don't know. I didn't realize I was being such a Bristol lover. What up, Bristol? But yeah, so I mentioned before when I was talking about Emma, this was the video that I saw when I heard about this girl coming to Australia to run a workshop, and I couldn't go, and I watched this clip and I was like, wow, she's so fun. I mean, she put so much of her personality into her hooping videos. Like, once you know her as well, you just like, you watch it and it's like, yeah, it's so Emma. But again, the tricks were like, wow, what is going on? It was the Mismatched Twins one, wasn't it? Yeah, that's God, I even forgot that it was that, and that she did the whole Mismatched Twins. It's like, wow, how'd you get that hoop to go through that hoop? But you know, she wears leg warmers in it, which I love. She's got lots of coloured hair. It's like, this girl's so cool. And actually wrote to her. I was like, you're coming to Australia and I can't get any workshop. Can you run another one so that I can come? I'll get some friends together and stuff. Like, you know. Yeah, and she responded, and then I ended up picking her up from the airport, actually, and then she stayed with me forever. And then, yeah, that's the rest is just a historical love story. But yeah, this video is super. The song is great. I love the song Cannonball, and you know, it takes me back to my like 90s alternative club days. So the great song, great colours, great tricks, good. And she's just like lots of fun to watch. So that's why I love this one.
Going to hell, crash on the last splash. I know you, little libertine. I know you're
lovely video. Good stuff. And outside of hooping, obviously you said about some of the like fitness stuff. What else have you been doing recently, kind of hobbies wise?
Okay, so since I've been in lockdown, I've just got a little sample right here. I've done a little bit of sewing for the first time since 1990, when I like batch made hair scrunchies. So I made myself this like super cool scarf.
Whoa, with tassels.
I think I've got it on like slightly boring side, although it's like got like cool textured fabric, and then the other side is, let's go this way, this like all the best colors, and then it's got this fringing. So I don't actually know how to sew, but I did this without a pattern or another one to copy, so I'm really proud of myself.
That's awesome.
And it goes with everything, lots of fringing. And so I sewed that. And I'm just going to go, oh God, you can see that I'm wearing tracksuit pants. Oh my God, so much black. I've never worn so much black. Okay, I made these like,
wow.
My friend calls them pot plant pajamas. So it's probably the fabrics that I chose. But these little bags that go around pot plants. I'll just pull up my tracksuit pants. Whoops, should have thought that through.
No, that's fabulous. I love it. I love the amount of pom-poms and tassels and things as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, haberdashery. It's a good word, isn't it? Haberdashery. I've been getting into haberdashery in COVID times. I've not been baking anything. Just sewing, gardening. Lots of gardening actually. Can't see because it's nighttime, but out here down the back there's huge veggie patch. Been potting a lot of plants slowly. Wait, I'm going to show you this plant too. This is really cool. This is an insight into my world. So this is called a watermelon plant. How cool is it? It looks exactly like a watermelon.
I've never seen one of those before.
So, no, me neither. So cool. It's like something you'd only find in Japan or something.
That is really cool. I've been really proud of myself that I've managed to keep the Christmas tree alive still, and that's like that and some cacti, the only things that I have.
How have you kept? Oh, because it's in like a pot with dirt.
Yeah, I bought like the smallest Christmas tree possible because it was the cheapest Christmas tree, and it was like this big in an actual pot, and I was like, I'm going to try and keep this alive till next Christmas. And it was doing fine until, we had a month of no rain. And this is why I'm not good with pot plants, because with my cat, if he needs water, he tells me. The pot plants are withering. And I'm like, something's wrong here. What have I forgotten?
It's not a succulent.
No. And like the cacti I've been able to keep alive for like nearly 2 years, and I was like, I can keep this Christmas tree alive, and it's tenuous. I'm not sure if it's going to make it all the way to Christmas, but I'm trying my hardest.
I love it. You're like, give me more bang, as much bang for my buck as I can get.
Yeah, I'm not cheap.
Is it because it's so small maybe that it would last that well? Like it's kind of like the amount of dirt to plant ratio, because
I thought I was going to have to repot it before I didn't water it enough, and then now it's more just a matter of like, can I keep it from going brown? That's the main focus at the moment. And if it recovers enough. Some of it's gone brown. It's not brown. No.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can bring it back. But as I say, I'm not the best with plants, so we'll see. At Christmas, if I'm still doing these interviews, I'll let you know if the plants are alive.
It should be in the background, like my plant is. There's the Christmas tree there.
It would make people feel so sad if they had to look at it right now, honestly. One of the things I was really nervous about before going to Australia is the amount of deadly creatures over there, because I'm arachnophobic, and I was always aware of the fact that you've got a lot of terrifying, either large spiders that are just visually terrifying or small spiders that are completely deadly. Melbourne isn't too bad for spiders. What's it like up in Byron?
we definitely have a lot of spiders up here. There's one in my house at the moment that's like this big. It's a huntsman, and it's totally fine because it's like up on the wall, and it's only ever in the lounge room or in the hall just outside my bedroom. but it's a huntsman, so it's harmless. It's like that big. It's not too freaky looking, so that's fine. I used to live in another house on this same property, and next to the house was a big banana plantation where they grow like organic ladyfinger bananas, which apparently are amazing. But bananas are disgusting, so I wouldn't know. But huntsman spiders, they're the big hairy gross ones, they love banana trees. So we would regularly get huntsmans inside that house because it's kind of, I don't know, they just get in. But it was like, we don't have keys to our house, so if anyone knows where I live, I'm home all the time. But we didn't have keys there. It was, I live in the country now, so everything's just open all the time. It's safe. But we would often have huntsmen, and these were like really ballsy, bold, smart ass huntsmen, because they would just like walk around on the floor. They were never just like up on the wall where they're meant to be. They'd just be like crawling down the hall. And if we needed to like get up and go to the toilet in the middle of the night, you always had to take a torch with you. You couldn't just walk down the hall in the dark, because there could very easily be like a huntsman like this big, just hanging out, just doing its own thing, taking over. Like I'd be sitting on the couch watching telly, watching, a hoop video, and then I'd see something out of the corner of my eye, just like massive spider just walking across the kitchen floor. So they were little smart asses in that house. And but people are also really scared about the snakes that we have in Australia, which is fair enough. And I do live in a very snaky area as well, and I'm not so worried about the snakes. I actually ran over one with my car like a couple of weeks ago, and I feel awful. It was nighttime, and I thought it was a stick or something until I was almost on top of it, and then I just went boop, and it wasn't there. I mean, I'm not going to stop and do anything with it. And it was probably a python, which is really sad, but anyway, it's like really emotional. It wasn't there the next day, so hopefully it just like my car just survived over it. Fine. Yeah, but we definitely have snakes on this property. We had just like a month ago, we found a massive snake skin from a python.
Oh my god!
Just right near our front door. Haven't seen the python, but we saw its old skin. I had a friend that came over, and she's like, "Oh, can I have that?" Like, yeah, you can have. So I want it for my altar. Of course you do. Great. So on some hippie's altar right now. But the other house that we lived at with like all the huntsmen, I just moved in there. I just moved up here from the city, and I'd been there for like 2 months, and I was at the back in the dark with my phone, scrolling Instagram, checking out all the hoop videos of all the people I can't remember, and and just having a drink, and it's just completely dark. And then I just moved, when you're just like standing a while looking at something and you'll just move. So just like moved my footing slightly, and the side of my foot touched something, and I knew that there was not meant to be anything on the ground there. And I looked down, and it was a massive snake.
Oh.
And I had no shoes on, so I touched the snake with my bare foot, and it had already like half slithered past me as well. So it was probably like a 2-meter snake or something, and it was like 1 meter in.
Oh my god.
But it's made me really tough. I'm just like, I touch those things with my bare foot. I can handle snakes and spiders and whatever. And my
Do you
house
get taught in school like which ones are poisonous and which ones are dangerous and things like that?
I think so, but in Melbourne, there weren't really any snakes. I mean, there are. You only have to be about half an hour out of the city there, and you can be in bushland where there's potentially snakes. But we do. but I never saw a snake in my life when I was living. I had seen a couple when I went out to the country. I was at my friend's property a couple of hours out of the city from Melbourne once, and I had a brown snake, which is like it's like our most venomous snake, and they can be really aggressive. And I'd like just driven into the friend's property, got out of the car, opened the gate, driven in, shut the gate, and then I get back in the car and I see something in my side mirror, and it's a snake like slithering at the car, and I'm like just like shit, driving up the driveway, which is like a 500-meter driveway, and I could see it chasing my car and like lunging at the car. I was just like, ah! And then I got up to the top of the house, and then I was like, I can't get out of the car. But what if somehow it got in the car? I'm just like walking down the road. There was a snake chasing me. Go and see if there's snakes there. So yeah, I've had a few snake encounters now, but I feel like I can handle them after the touching it with my foot. I've gone deep. I can handle it. But spiders definitely, I prefer a snake over a spider, I think.
I feel you're definitely the same on that one.
So yeah, come to Australia. We have beautiful wildlife and things that will freak you out, if not kill you.
And so other things outside of hooping, with the travel and stuff, like, is there any places or festivals that you've particularly loved going to and enjoyed?
Do you mean like hoop festivals?
Yeah, or music festivals as well.
I mean, yeah, they're the only festivals that we know about, isn't it? What? There's no hoops? What is that? I definitely love going to hoop retreats, like so much. They're like my favorite place to be. I always meet beautiful, amazing people that I stay friends with forever. So be careful if you see me at a hoop retreat, just keep your distance, otherwise you're stuck with me forever. But I just went to jungle hooping at the start in February this year, so I feel so lucky that I actually got a holiday and B, a hoop retreat in this year, because it's probably going to be the only one. And that was awesome. That was in Thailand, in the jungle. And Mary in the hoop, she made that retreat, and Chris and Emma and Lila, all people I've mentioned, they pay me to say things about them. So €5. So they were teaching there, which was really, I was like, okay, with that lineup, amazing. And then I got to I ended up teaching the yoga, and I taught an 80s hoop workshop there as well, so there was a hoop in it. That was fun. And so other hoop retreats, I love the German Hoop Convention. I always loved Swoop, amazing, of course. And what else? And obviously everything, Emma will kill me if I don't say, again, she pays me to say nice things, but everything at Tadar is always good. I've only been to one retreat there, but it was with Freyja Edney, who I would also like to name drop / just mention her, because she is amazing, and she's been a big influence for me on my circus style of hooping, and she is really awesome. She's Australian as well, actually. So Freyja Edney, follow her. Put a link down the bottom. And Gail was also teaching with her. So two hoopers with like totally different styles, and that was just an amazing week. And I became super close friends with a few hoopers there. And of course, Tadar is beautiful. It's just the most stunning place to go for a hoop retreat, and the food is awesome. And there's only they can only fit like 12 people or something in the studio, so it's like exclusive boutique, incredible.
And that's in Turkey, isn't it? I haven't been there yet. I really want to go.
Yeah, sorry, good point. That's in Turkey. And they have like on the property, there's a couple that own the house and the property, and they have this whole permaculture garden that they're like really into. And so you learn about permaculture when you're there as well, and then you like go and check out some old ruins and go to the beach, and it's shit, really shit. I can't remember any other hoop retreats.
No, that's great. That's a good selection for people to find out about, definitely. And then I like finding out about music that people like, because I think it's a really good thing to inspire you to like do some different hooping, and also just great to find some new music. And the ones that you've picked as 3 track recommendations, first one you actually mentioned earlier is the Hollaback girl, Gwen Stefani, classic.
Yes.
And is this one you said you're doing a routine to at the moment?
I am. I'm creating a intermediate level hoop dance routine to it. So I'm teaching that online, but this isn't a plug because it's too late. So we're up to our final week with this routine, and I'm just love. It's such a fun song, and it's like really punchy. It's quite for the routine's quite fast, which makes it definitely intermediate level. But we're like up to the bit where we're picking up the second hoop, and we've got like total pom poms going on, and because it's got that whole cheerleader vibe. This song.
Nice.
So I definitely love my retro music, obviously, like big fan of most things 80s and 90s. So yeah, and especially like, you know, gotta love Gwen with girl power vibes.
Definitely love a bit of Gwen. And the next track, I hadn't actually heard this person before, is Alaska by Maggie Rogers, and this is like kind of electronica with really beautiful female vocals. What is it you like about this track?
So I heard this in one of my contemporary dance classes, up here, which is something actually I also do, is go to lots of dance classes, contemporary, jazz, whatever, dance hall. So in my contemporary class that I go to up here, our teacher played this one in the class. It was just really beautiful. It's just like, I like to move to lots of different styles. So obviously the Hollaback girl's got a real distinct, like, fun vibe. You can't not have a smile on your face. But if I want to sort of, you know, flow to something a bit more floaty and really sort of, I don't know, get more into my sort of expansion movements with the hoop, and more of a, you know, the hoop just being part of my body that's really dancing, then I like this kind of music. So it's just really beautiful. You had to listen to it?
I did actually. I really like this track. I say I'd never heard it before, so that's definitely going to be going in my hoop playlist. And the final one, again, I hadn't heard of this person, but I was loving the fact the track's called Brizzle, which is obviously the nickname for Bristol again. So I'm loving the little Bristol link here. And this one's more kind of techno-y, I guess, style electronica.
Definitely techno, yeah, like tech house. So I'm also a big fan of tech house music. Like if I'm going to go to a festival or to a club or something, it's generally going to be tech house rather than an 80s club or something like that, where there's probably just going to be an average age of 60-year-olds. So
so definitely I'd put links to the tracks underneath as well, so people can check those out. And in terms of the future of hooping for you, do you have any kind of bucket list hoop goals that you want to achieve within your lifetime that you haven't yet?
So I'm doing a hoop splitting course at the moment. It's really hardcore actually. So I've got a few injuries, and so doing something that's so like drill, I'm not practicing it every day, because I might just feel like, okay, no, I shouldn't be like forcing my body to do this a lot today. I need to just going to do some yoga. I'm just going to lie on my ball stuff for half an hour. But I mean, I would love to get a 5 hoop split. That would be amazing. I can do a 4 hoop split with terrible technique. So even if I can do, I mean, I think it's okay, but then I see good technique, and doing with Shona Konacha, who is a Melbourne hooper who also teaches for Hoops, Flyers and Buttocks, and she's total circus. Like she's been doing circus since she was 7 or something. And so we're doing, it's the second time we're running a 4-week, this is a 5-week actually, online course with her teaching it, and it's been great. So we just had the class tonight actually, and we had some people there from London and then all over Australia, which has been really cool to like, most of the people in the course I know, so I get to see them on Zoom every week. It's like, hey, and then we're just like, and everyone's got the serious faces. Like, it's not my preferred way to hang out with my friends, but but a 5 hoop split would be amazing to get that if my body's going to let me. What else? I think just spending more time creating things and just dancing with my hoop more, and having time to do that would be good. Yeah, there's no other, I don't know, remembering everything that I've learned in all my
Yeah,
years
that's a
of
good goal.
doing workshops, because I love learning, I love being in classes, but you learn so many cool things and then you just like forget them. So maybe watching recaps from classes and conventions, because I've got loads of them and I haven't watched any of them ever. So
I'm
it's like,
literally
oh,
doing
quick,
a thing at the moment where
I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
get a on.
each week try and remember one trick that you loved in a workshop you've taken that you don't do anymore, or that you haven't done since the workshop, and force yourself to, like, if I'm filming like a little Instagram video, if I'm just practicing, be like, okay, I'm just going to keep trying to put that trick in every few minutes so I actually finally remember it.
Yes, that's good. And yeah, and taking that, just that one trick, not trying to do the 5 of them or something, just that one, and then putting it into your own hoop dance so that it just gets in your body.
No, definitely.
Good one. I'm going to try that too.
Yeah, it's a hard one to remember though. I've got to go see some of the videos because I've got 10 years of recap videos that I've never looked at, but I'm like, I gotta do that one day.
Yeah.
And final question, is there anyone you would really like to see interviewed on future episodes of the Hoop Circle?
Oh,
Anyone you're curious about that you haven't met and you want to know about their hoop journey, or people you know and think would be really funny, or anything like that?
Oh gosh, hard question. I don't know many people. Babs, I think Babs would be interesting, Babs Robinson, because she's been hooping for such a long time. Like, she was kind of, I feel like she was making the first hoop tutorials on YouTube. That's what it's called. So it would be really great to hear about her hoop journey, because it's been such a big one. We actually worked out that we started hooping in the same year, except that she went deep into it much earlier than I did, and was, doing all the tutorials. That so many of the older school hoopers got so much out of her tutorials, because she was kind of like the first one. So everyone that has been hooping for like 10 years or more has learned from Babs online at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, she would be a good one. And then there's probably some of these, like Nick, the UK hooper, is he?
Nick Roy?
Nick is no, the other one, maybe. Pardon?
Nick
Nick
Gazzardo?
Gazzardo. I don't even know who people are. Yeah, him. And he maybe he's not from the UK.
No, he's American, but yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to make everyone be from Bristol.
So the other Nick is from Bristol.
The other Nick is from Bristol, but I have met him and I do know him. So maybe Nick Sato, because I've seen bits of his video. It'd be good to have, some like male hooper stories as well. So yeah, and I don't know anything about him, so I just said a name that just came up, that I would love to see an interview with him.
To get him. He would be great to have on the show. And I think last time I saw him actually was Swoop a couple of years ago, and he just moved to the Virgin Islands. So yeah, it would be lovely to have him on the show. I will definitely get in touch with him.
Come on, Nick. Tell us everything. Tell us your story.
And does amazing head hooping. He can like sit down and head hoop, like so chilled. It's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it? It's like hypnotic.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, thank you so much for being a guest on the show today. And there's links to all of your social media and videos and things underneath, so people can check out the fantastic things that you do. And yeah, take care. It was lovely to speak to you.
Thanks, Kay. Thanks so much for having me. It's such an honor. Mwah.
Take care. Bye-bye.